home building and remodeling show. Let's go. Welcome everybody to the home building and remodeling show. My name is Chris Kirby and I'll be your host. I am the owner of 3 construction companies on the Alabama Gulf Coast. The show is about residential construction. We're going to cover topics of home building and remodeling. Are you thinking of doing a remodel or building a home? Are you a contractor looking to improve your knowledge base or grow your business? Have you ever done a remodel project or built a home? There were so many things you wish you knew or that you could have done differently during the process. Then this show is for you. We break down the process of building and remodeling and how to have the best results during your project. Whether you're a DIYer looking for tips, someone looking to hire a contractor to do a project, or a contractor looking to expand your knowledge base or your business. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Stay tuned. We kick off the show with my thoughts on home building and remodeling. I'll share best practices and talk about some of our experiences in business and out in the field. These shared thoughts and lessons learned are meant to help you on your very own journey. Let's go. So if you have a client that works from home, they may need quiet hours. They may need consideration while you're in their house. They may have certain times that you can be there and that they don't want anybody there. Or if they've just had a baby, they may want different things. I mean, there's just so many different things that go into understanding the client needs that it's one of the more critical components of running a successful business and having a successful project, whether it be a home build or a remodel. You need to find out and ask as many questions as you can to the client to get all the information that you need to make sure that the project goes smoothly and that there's no surprises from your end or their end because you've talked through the project from beginning to end. And what I mean by that is generally talk through the project flow, the project steps, when people are going to be in and out, all of these details, parking, cleanup, where they enter from, where they use the bathroom, do the neighbors know? All of these things lead to good communication and understanding the client needs during a project. So make sure that you're getting tons of answers to your questions before the project even starts. You will also be able to gauge how sensitive the client is to the project. Some clients will let you just run with the project because they want to be hands off and they're hiring you knowing that you know what you're doing. They are hiring you to make decisions and work through the project and work through the details and accomplish the project. And look, they may just give you a picture and give you the vision and step back and get out of the way and let you do your thing. Then you're going to have clients who literally will want to stand over your shoulder, watch, ask questions as you go. The type of client that, hey, what is that right there? What are you doing? What's that used for? Those are the type of clients that you need to understand too. Not that that's a bad thing, but you have different types of people that you're going to be working for in the contracting industry. So making sure that you understand their needs and how they respond to adversity and talk through that. Say, hey, listen, everything may not go smooth. Here are the expectations. Lay out the expectations for them, but let them know that there could be problems that arise. And when a problem arises, here's how I would like to talk through that problem. Some people are going to go high and right, and they're going to get upset. They're going to get angry. And, they may calm down once they realize you've got the situation under control. And then you're going to have people who don't do that, who aren't as responsive. They're going to be like, you know what? It's fine. We can work through this. You're going to have people who calm you down more than you can calm them down, which is okay. All of that is okay. So what you need to do is just talk to them so you can understand their needs. What kind of responses or communication do they want? What are their expectations from you as a contractor while you're in their home? And once you understand that, keep that top of mind and let your people know as you're going through the project. That's going to make for a successful project. And now we move into Shop Talk. It's the portion of the show where I bring in a co-host and we cover trending topics in home building and remodeling. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. One of the things that we've had some issues with in the beginning, so 2 years ago is when we really started down this path, helping a friend build a barndominium, and it was a little bit hard for her to get the financing that she needed from the bank because it was trending and there was really no other barndominiums in the area, and so the financing part was hard because there weren't any comps. Well, we've kind of there's a few around here now, and so there are a couple of local banks that will take on those types of loans. Actually, financing a barndominium here where we are isn't an issue at the moment. And then the other thing that people were having a hard time with was the getting the insurance for them. But again, it's the same thing. Now that there are a few around, the insurance companies are able to insure them. And what you got to look at is these things are really commercial, like a commercial building. They're really no different. And I think now that people are more educated on what exactly a barndominium is, they're able to insure it and put a mortgage on it, provide financing, different things like that. Is there any difference in the process of the land clearing or any of that type of stuff for a barndo?
It's not.
It's all the same. So just like a custom home.
It is. The only thing I've found that is different is in the foundation step.
Yeah.
If your property is not flat, you cannot do block on that foundation like you would a traditional house and then backfill and pour your slab.
Yeah.
So you have a lot more dirt filled to bring in.
So how does it? So explain that to me, because we're about to do one that's on an unlevel lot. Just because your lot isn't level doesn't mean that you can't do a barndominium, and that's kind of what he's talking about. So how does that work in preparing that foundation since it's not level?
Yeah, so it's you cut your ground, figure out how deep it's got to be at the highest point.
Yep.
And then you start bringing in your fill dirt. Once you get your fill dirt in, then it has to be compacted. Just over and over, running over it with a roller or dump trucks, whatever it takes to get it back, and then get that compaction test to assure that it is, 95% compacted.
Yep.
And once you get that, then you move on like a traditional monolithic slab.
Some people ask about it's metal, so how does it not rust and all this different type of stuff?
So it has a coating on it.
Yep.
And it has I think a 30 or 40 year warranty on that coating.
Yep. So does the building come from the manufacturer with a warranty?
It does.
Okay.
It does. All the parts have warranty.
Gotcha.
One of the questions I've been asked a lot lately by potential clients are, do we have to put metal on the walls? Can we do board and batten, or can we do a brick skirt? And yes, you can.
Right. So
once you get that plywood there, then it becomes more like a traditional. You can do a brick skirt with metal to it, or you can do hardy.
Yeah, and we're doing so right now. The one that we're doing in Alberta, that one actually on the front, we've actually done a stone skirt around the front too. How did that work? I guess one of the questions will be where the stone and metal meet. How does that all work?
So you take, like that one, it was just one wall.
Yeah.
Just the front wall.
Just the front of the barndominium. The front.
So it didn't go, all the way around. So at the corners, they have a corner trim that comes down with the metal, and they just let it come all the way down over the edge of the stone.
Yep.
And they do make, with those stones, they do make transitions for corners and top rails and everything for it.
Gotcha.
But on that one, we actually let the metal come down over the sides.
Yep.
And then put a flashing on the top ledge of the brick.
Gotcha. So one of the other questions people ask about is insulating the barndominiums. And I'm in quite a few different groups on Facebook that specifically talk about barndominiums and styles. And
insulation is a big topic that comes up. What kind of insulation are we using in these Barndominiums?
So with both of the first two we have done spray foam, open cell on both of them.
Yeah.
I like it. I
Yeah.
really do. They do make the traditional plastic insulated wrap that goes on the building all the way around on the ceiling and everything. And it's the same thing you would find in any other metal building.
Yeah.
And it seems efficient enough, but that spray foam really, really cuts down on noise and temperature. You know, your elements creeping through the metal.
Yeah. Okay.
I do like it a lot.
Yeah, and we've talked to our insulators, and we use a couple of different ones, and they'll tell you, like, on the big one that we just completed, that it was kind of overkill to further insulate the walls, unless you're looking for like a soundproofing or a barrier. That foam was fine.
Yep.
Right, and there was no need to further insulate those walls.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no need.
Question people have is in the design part. So how we do it, and I'll let you speak to the beginning phases, because I know I deal more with when we send it to our architect and he does the interior build out phase. But how do people go about getting plans for a barndominium?
For the metal part itself,
Yes.
that first knowing your square footage.
Yep.
Do you want it wider than it is long?
Yeah.
That's the first step, and then from there we'll get them in contact with the metal vendor.
Yeah.
And then he'll actually design the building with them.
Okay.
How they want it to look. Do they want two-tone metal? Everything to it. The colors of the metal, the sizes of the building, long, skinny, square. All of that comes from the vendor.
Gotcha.
And then they engineer it, and then it comes to us, and then our architect will get with them, get it drawn out, get the windows laid out where they go.
Okay. And then basically, then you have a full set of plans, correct?
Yes.
Well, once he does his interior, so let's talk about it. You got the metal building that comes stamped. It's engineered.
It is.
Okay. We have a local engineer that does the foundation portion.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have an architect that does the design and build out portion of the barndominium. And then once he's done, he sends it to the engineer again to basically make everything mesh, right? Okay. And then once that engineer is done, we're ready to go to planning and zoning and move into permitting. So that's kind of the process of looking at a barndominium. So I want to close out the conversation about barndominiums, and I hope that you guys were able to get some knowledge out of that.
Now we're going to move into the portion of the show where we talk interior design. We're going to bring in an interior designer, and we're going to talk trending design and products. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. Some of this stuff you can change out. Even a countertop, like you were saying, without a huge upgrade, there's alternatives to a granite and marble and the more expensive stuff now. They even have, I think they have onyx countertops, and they also, vanities. I know for sure they do. But they also have what's similar to an onyx, which is the composite material.
Right.
I think they call it like a solid surface, right?
Yeah.
And I think some of that can be a little more on the cheap side. And I think it looks good. It's just a durability, I think.
Right.
And we'll get into that where we're talking about the durability of different products, but like kitchen countertops, like we kind of hit on Butcher Block. It is one of the cheaper alternatives. It does look good. But it's, what do you do in your kitchen? So as a designer, right, we're talking about creating that dream kitchen and stuff like that. But the functionality and what you do as a family or as the cook in the house in your kitchen matters too, right?
Right.
So is that something when you go out to do, like if you're doing a consultation, do you talk about any of that type of stuff?
The maintenance or the...
No, like how the kitchen is used, the functionality.
Usually, right. Well, they usually, if they're calling us out there, they usually already have in mind something that they're changing for the purpose of use.
Yeah.
So, usually, that's going to come up in that case.
Yeah.
With the consultation.
So
'cause
you'll
you're-
ask about because sometimes like we were talking about going from galley to open concept, and it may be that a larger family with more kids moved into a smaller home, and sometimes the kitchen and the living room are really kind of together, and they use that as the centerpiece
Right.
and need to kind of open it up and get the
Right.
space. So.
Yeah.
Or is any of that stuff considered when you're looking at the consultation or how to design or
Oh,
help them?
absolutely. Yeah. And how long they want to be there and how long, I mean, really what they want to invest in while they're
And doing
there.
that? Yeah.
And then, because if they're only thinking 10 years down the road, they are thinking resell.
Yeah.
So what floor plan would be best for that? So,
Right.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, in new construction, is that a consideration as well? Like used or any of
doesn't-
that? Or
I haven't been on that side for very long, but it appears not to be a concern at all to the current homeowner because
Sure.
by the time you are done building a house, they don't want to have even the thought of leaving that place.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
so invested at that point. So yeah, the concept in that moment is all about them.
Yeah.
It's what they want, and especially with building the custom homes. They're picking to their liking. They are not thinking resale.
yeah,
at all.
absolutely. And most people, when you're doing a custom home, aren't right.
Right, right.
It really is tailored to them, and that's
Yeah.
the beauty of what we do. But then again, also that's kind of the torture in like you want to get it right for the client. You want to allow them to make that choice. This is
Right.
a dream for them,
Right.
and so it can be a daunting task. But again, we're talking about considering how they use it too. So like they're just thinking cosmetically and aesthetically how it looks, but do you have any of those type of conversations? Now I know when it organizational items, right? I think that was something that
Right.
came up.
So now you have a lot of the pull-out trash cans and cabinets.
Yeah.
And like when we were growing up, you either kind of installed that yourself or you just kind of put a trash can under the cabinet. You open
Yeah.
the door and there was a trash can. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no fancy hardware involved. They're
Yeah.
trying to make that happen. So now that is definitely, everybody wants that now. Now
Yeah.
you also have the pull-out drawer microwaves. Well, that considers a certain drawer for cabinet design.
Yeah.
You don't have just a microwave sitting on top of a shelf, even though that's still an option.
Right. And I've
So-
seen and then there's like spice racks.
Spice racks
And you know what I noticed
cookie
the other
sheet
day?
dividers and
What?
yeah.
Cookie sheet divider. What do you mean? Hold on. So, listen, and I try to stay up on all of this. What I was going to say before we get to this cookie sheet divider thing, the other day on Facebook, another friend of mine who posts their kitchen work and stuff, I saw somebody comment because they were saying, check out this cool feature, and it was a spice rack. Well, in the comment, the lady had said, hey, nice spice rack. Next time, try not putting it between the dishwasher and the stove. And I was like, huh. So placement of these things matter because the reason she was saying that is you've got, the dishwasher, right? Humidity and moisture on one side. And then you've got the oven with heat on the other.
Yeah.
And you know what? That type of thought, it comes from experience. But it's something that even us, as we're going through, we learn. I never thought of that.
Well, yeah, and that's why you can have the vision for what you want, but you still need to rely on the people that specialize in that. So I like going to my kitchen designers, and their cabinet designers, and walking through that layout with them.
Yeah,
And
because
so-
those are the
because
types
those are
of
things that they're going to
gonna-
notice and pick up on very quickly.
Yeah, and I
So-
just like, you know what? Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Now you think about it, and guess what? That's paid for and installed. So
Yeah,
some of that
exactly.
design stuff. Okay, so tell me about this the cookie sheets.
Cookie sheet, yeah.
Yeah.
And you also gotta, if you can go to, CraftMade actually has a lot of extra crazy organizational
Yeah.
options. So anybody wants to check out their website. But anyway, you can get a paper towel holder inside your cabinet, the cookie sheet organizers.
Now, are
all
those
the pull-out
just kind
drawers
of like
are very
hangers or something? Like, or are they?
No,
they
they're actually
have
like
dividers.
Yeah, or
Gotcha.
little pegs.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think too they're starting to get more creative with like pull out cutting boards and pull just different
Yeah.
features like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so which is cool, but I think the organizational piece is hugely beneficial.
Right.
I've noticed our cabinet configuration. Some people want just the standard drawer all the way down, full of drawers.
Yep.
Then they want to be able to put pots and pans, so they want deep drawers.
Any
stuff
kitchen
like
I've
that.
designed, I've always suggested the drawers on the bottom.
So wait,
At least.
you don't just have like back in the day where it's just open and you open up the double doors and everything's piled
You
and
still
falling.
have
and,
you still have that, but they've gotten very smart with cabinet design.
yeah,
And it's definitely
So it's not necessary.
user friendly to the kitchen.
yeah. Well, the one that I've always now too, I like they have the different. You've got Lazy Susans, but you've got the where they just pull out completely. The one that I don't like is the blind corner cabinet.
Yes.
So basically,
just your dead
it's
space.
just dead space.
It is dead,
and
yeah.
and it's stuff that you never use, you pile back
Right,
there.
right.
And then the other one is, for me, always the cabinets above the fridge. What do you really put in there?
Well, and that's another thing with working with the design for that too. The cabinets ideally would be almost to the end of the fridge.
Sure.
So they used to sit way back.
Yes.
That's another thing when we were growing up.
Well,
they weren't like
Yeah, they were standard wall depth.
you had to get
instead
up
of-
on a stool and then
Yeah.
arm's length away. You may have gotten a cookbook.
But that's the again, that's the place where you put the stuff that you're just like once a year, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely hide a lot of things in the kitchen.
And then
If you're not a hoarder or you just have a lot of stuff. Like
yeah,
I don't cook a lot, so I actually have a pretty good amount of space, even though my kitchen's small.
yeah.
I don't have a lot of cooking stuff.
And then some
so-
people are the opposite. They don't cook a lot, but they got so
They sure
much
look like they
stuff.
do.
And yeah, and they keep all of it,
Right.
and it's hard to get rid of it. So
Right.
that's funny. But okay, well, so we talked about, what did we talk about? Paint, backsplash, hardware, countertops,
in lighting.
lighting. Those are your 5 simple, sometimes DIY projects to give you that dream kitchen. And
Without
so,
making the situation worse.
yeah, absolutely.
Those are very doable changes.
Well, and before we leave this, I would say on the countertop piece, you got to be careful when pulling those things off, because you can damage the cabinets, and then you just took it from simple
Well, that's true. I
you
was
know.
definitely not suggesting that as a DIYer, though.
Let's scratch the countertop one. No, I'm just kidding.
It makes a big change, though.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Chrissy. We appreciate you as always. See you next time. Thanks for joining us today. As always, we are grateful for our listeners and your continued support. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Get more info at our website, www.thehomebuildingshow.com. And as always, remember who we are, the Home Building and Remodeling Show.